Looks like we're about to get underway. Tension is here. And it is the surprise Lum pick. Lum is 90 HP. When he attacks, his attacks can potentially come back to his hand. At the end of combat, if he deals damage or block damage with an attack, he discards the top card of his deck. He can gain life, get his cards back, or draw 3 cards, make the opponent slower, or flip his Joker and take damage. But right off the bat, Leontes is taking advantage of his fast throws. Lum's fastest throw is this 6. This is one of Midori's slower throws on his 5 that he'll actually use. Lum wants to be attacking a lot because when he blocks, he can use his 10 for Poker Flourish, as you can see right over here, which at the end of turn lets him make a poker hand, and usually he'll use the 4 of a kind ability and do lots of out-of-combat damage without having to win combat that turn in order to do it. He wants to attack Midori a lot to protect himself from those very fast throws, and eventually get set up and do a lot of out-of-combat damage. Leontes getting a solid block. He's low on cards after trying for the aggressive start. And remember, Enomus does not draw a card when the normals are blocked against Midori. We're going to see a little bit of decent amount of both players trying to sort of poke out a little bit, except the difference is that Lum is trying to poke out to protect his blocks from throws. Midori is trying to catch something like Lum's Jack with his Queen, like this Jack. This is speed 1.4 and can start combos. That Queen was meant to cut under it because it's faster. And there's the face down. When you lose combat, you can face down any card you wish, and if it was a Joker and they continue their combo, the damage prevented, think of it like a burst from Guilty Gear, and you draw 2 cards. The initial damage still connects, but the rest goes away, but you only have 2 Jokers in your entire deck. If you play it as a combat card, it beats all attacks and throws and searches your deck for 2 aces, or your discard. So Enomus, at the hand cap, you can only have up to 12 cards in your hand at the end of your turn, and he's willing to continue blocking. Blocks do return to your hand unless they are thrown, so the block is pretty safe. It lets him maintain his hand size. And remember that, okay, so trying to scout those face cards out. He rolled the dice and hit an ace, I just noticed. That's pretty mean. When he rolls the dice and gets an ace, he draws 3 cards, and then he looks at the bottom card of his deck. Which is probably the most powerful ability he can get off of a roll of the dice, is drawing those 3 cards. Sort of, now he's established the fear of those fast attacks like his Jack, he's able to get the free throw. Life totals are now even. Jackpot. He's going to draw a card, and he's going to look at a random card. In Leontes' hand, he sees a 9, which is valuable information. It's one of his 8 dodges. And if he had found an ace, he would deal 7 damage to Leontes and draw an additional card. If it's a Joker, he would take 2 damage. We're going to see a Poker Flourish. And it's 4 of a kind, 4 sevens. So he's going to discard an ace. And we're going to see Blackjack. He's going to play Blackjack from the top of his deck. Stops at 16, and that's how much damage Leontes will take. If he gets to 21, he does 21 damage and gets the cards back. If he busts, goes over 21, then the cards are all discarded and nothing happens. And that's the attack you're going to be seeing a lot of annoyance about, is Rolling Panda. It is the fast attack matchup at speed 0.4. Can be pumped with another one of itself. Oh, and he flips a 3rd one off the deck, so 3 of his 4 queens are gone. He did not get them back. And he gets the opportunity to roll the dice, and there's about a 50% chance he can get the queen back. If he had gotten both queens back there, that would have been pretty annoying to deal with. But now, Leontes is 4 speeds slower, his attacks and his throws. And still gets a throw out, I guess. Enomus was expecting a block, figured that he could just get a block combat and keep the hand size constant, but doesn't take advantage of the speed disadvantage and gets thrown. There we go. Leontes gets the dodge on the face card. This is a bit slower than his other ones, but still annoying for Midori to deal with. Does a lot of chip damage. Remember, at the heart of things, Midori is a grappler. He's focused a lot on his blocks and his throws, so annoying attacks that do a lot of block damage are really annoying for grapplers to deal with, especially since Lum can maybe get them back. Block combat. Lum was knocked down, but all knockdown means is that you cannot dodge, which Midori doesn't care about because, remember, his dragon attacks can't be dodged anyway, and you can be mixed up by odd or even normals, but because enomus has been playing so many fast attacks, it's a little awkward to go for. Hits with that glimpse of the dragon that turns it into that really dangerous combo-starting queen. So now that forces a face down. And that was the bluff. This means that it has no effect. He just loses a card and he's taking 22 points of damage. And he's starting to get within that range where Midori starts getting access to very strong damage. Once you get to around 24, every combat can potentially be the end of your life against Midori. Because he can throw you for 24. He can hit you with the queen into Jack X and you're dead. Or he can dodge into his very scary final Dragon Buster. Or he can even just do the final Dragon Buster Super Throw. He might be going to Dragon Form to set up the block. No! Immediate final Dragon Buster. 20 damage right up front. And that was not a real Joker, so he takes 36 damage. And game 1 will go to Leontes. So I'd say, once you get to that life total against Midori, it's pretty scary going right back into it. This matchup is generally considered a bit better for Lum than Vendetta versus Midori. Enomus has been playing a lot of Lum lately. Gets thrown on turn 1 again, not being given that chance to set up and get that out of combat damage started. He's going to take 16 points damage immediately. And there we go, Leontes tried for the throw on turn 2 last time after the successful throw, got a little greedy, decides to sit back and block, blocks a normal, so now he has a hand size advantage and a life lead, but he gets punched. Enomus will get the normal draw this time because the normal did win combat, and he's going to get a 4-card straight. So first of all, he's about to do 22 points of damage. He's going to go roll the dice, loses a queen, but Leontes is slowed down. And because he hit with a straight, he can search for aces. This is a 4-card straight, so he gets to search for 2 of them. A 3-card straight would let him search for 1, and because Lum only has 4 combo points, he can't go past that. Leontes choosing to block again. Has a pretty solid hand. He's up to 10 cards, which is pretty solid against Lum. He's seen that Lum has lost a queen. He must throw out the coin toss. That's doing block damage, so he'll still get to roll the dice. That's what makes that card, in particular, a real pain in the neck for Midori to deal with. So he'll get that Jack back. And now Leontes has to navigate that in order to get damage out of his hand and into the table. Expects that Enomus will not attempt to fish with the coin again, gets a free throw. Takes the life lead back. And Enomus, realizing he has to start establishing fast attack, tries for the queen, no go. Note this does not do any block damage at all, so he does not get to roll the dice if this is blocked. Fast attack in the matchup, but it's a bit riskier to throw out there. Leontes is expecting that Jack to come back. At hand cap, so he would have to discard a card at the end of the turn, decides to get an ace instead. And don't forget, we saw what that ace can do at the end of the last game. 36 points of damage immediately, or 52 if he has all of them. So with the threat of the ace, he's going back into Dragon Form. He does not have... He has 1 face card in his discard pile with the Jack, but it's not something he wants to usually get back through Aspect of the Dragon, so I don't think he's going to be blocking this turn. He's going to go for the final Dragon Buster. Face down to avoid whatever... So this is a combo starter. That's a real Joker again, so he's going to draw 2 cards off the Joker. He's only going to take 4, but he lost his main damage threat from the final Dragon Buster. And Enomus getting the draw 3 again. Replaces the Jack and 2 Kings with 3 cards off the top. He gets to see what's on the bottom of his deck. So he knows what he's probably not going to get to. Except for the part where his 2 is 3 if he rolls the dice. He can choose to draw that card. And that's the reason why he thought he could go for the final Dragon Buster, is he had that Dragon Mountain reversal in his hand. Since that was hidden information, the ace wasn't, though. I feel like it would have been better to at least try to fish with this last turn, since enomus doesn't know you have it. And now it's in his discard, so he has an incentive to block to try to get it back, which he will do. Blocks the Rolling Panda. I feel like he's going to get either a queen or an ace back. Going to get an ace back. Sort of has a little Midori toolbox in there. Gets the ace from the deck, not from the discard. That's interesting. What that tells me is he does not have the full damage unlocked yet. He might try to block again and try to get that ace back from the discard. Yeah, Dragon Mountain, there it is. And he had another one hand, which is why he didn't recover it. Beats the Jack, which would speed 1.4. When Lum doesn't have access to his queen, that's the best attack in the matchup. There's a little speed hole where Lum cannot deal with any of Midori's attacks. Cannot deal with the queen if he doesn't have a queen of his own. Leontes is taking advantage of that, seeing that there's three of his queens are missing. And now Leontes has the advantage. This is not supposed to be a powerful matchup where Midori is as most powerful because those annoying fast attacks from Lum. He's making it work. Oh, that sucks. That's the risk of a dodge. If you can dodge any attack and try to get anything you want after that dodge, any single powerful attack, but if that's a joker that the opponent's backing it up with, that single powerful attack will do nothing, so 36 points of damage in the bin. No effect. Would have brought enomus down to 7 HP, which is literally everything in the game will kill him at that point, that he's actually going to play. And the super dodge blackjack, this is the other reason why he picks Lum. This is a dodge that can work around the Queen Dragon attacks. It's a super dodge, meaning Midori's innate has no effect. And you saw the blackjack effect earlier, and because it's an ability, and he's not following it up with another card, it cannot be jokered. So even if Leontes had the joker there, it wouldn't have mattered. He uses a normal throw, so he elects to end Dragon Form because he revealed a non-dragon attacker throw. Gets it beaten by the Jack, so this is doubly bad. He was expecting, I think, enomus to throw to try to force him out of Dragon Form. Because he saw so many of those valuable dragon attacks in the discard. But enomus, a step up, gets him to lose the Dragon Form for free, gets a roll the dice to get the cards back. Life totals are about even. So we're pretty close still. You have to think that means that Leontes does not have a king, or he would have used the king on the last turn. It would have let him do the throw without losing his Dragon Form. Because the king is his throw in Dragon Form if he doesn't have Final Dragon Buster, which he obviously doesn't. All of his aces are in the discard. He has 1 queen left, 6 dodges left, he has 3 more 2s if he wants to go back into Dragon Form, but he's going to need to block for a little bit to get some of that threat back. Instead choosing the dodge, meaning he has more damage in his hand, where he doesn't want to take the chip damage maybe for another black king, because that would give enomus the advantage again, and deck sizes are starting to get a bit lower. When the last card of either player's deck is drawn is time over, person with the lowest health loses. And that's the 4th queen, so no more queens are coming back for enomus. That's his last one. So gonna get the throw. This is only going to prevent 8 damage, so that is enomus' second joker, so those are both gone. His queens are all gone. So if Leontes gets access to a queen, and Dragon Form, you'll have the best attack in the matchup, guaranteed. But this is the Lum trick. He can discard those 2 aces. So let me unsort the discard. When he uses Poker Flourish, it's the top 2 cards of his discard, so he puts an ace into the bin, discards a pair to get aces. You have 3 more in hand. You use 3 from your hand plus the 1 in your discard to get your blackjack out. He's going to deal 14 damage with this one, take the life lead back. He's going to go down to 10 cards left in this deck, so Leontes needs to make something happen pretty soon. The good news is, Lum's fast attack for the rest of the match is going to be 0.8, which is going to take both of his aces. But he still has to play around that, because if he gets hit by that, he'll have to do 43 points of damage before Lum does 10. And Lum still has potentially more 10s remaining. In his deck, he has 2 more left that he can still use for more Poker Flourishes, so that's out of combat damage. Block combat, because he needs to get those resources. elects not to power up. He probably you need a 3 of a kind to get 2 aces, and Wrath of Earth and Final Dragon Buster are only both usable if you have 2 aces. So if he can't get 2 aces, there's no point. He's going to go into Dragon form. I think he's going to try to block for a turn, get an ace back, or a queen back. No, he's going to... Okay. Played around that, thought that Enomus would try to throw it again out of Dragon form quickly, gets hit by the coin toss and the king. Enomus with 7 cards left in his deck. Midori at 21 HP. Lum's going to get both of those back. He has kings now, and each of those would do 17 each. That would put Enomus at 26. But remember, he only has 1 queen left in his deck, which is the best attack he has access to. Poker Flourish with 3 9s. I think. No, it's going to be a full house, so a full house is just 7 damage. No strings attached. A flush will draw him 3 cards. A straight flush will let him pick any 2 of those 3 effects and use them all. And a straight lets him look for any card in his deck, which he doesn't need to anymore. He just needs to wait it out. If he really wanted to, he could go for a Poker Flourish flush to seal the game up. Blackjack is basically completely safe. Because Leontes is a dragon form, you have to king throw in order to beat that. And he's trying to run himself out of dodges. He has 2 dodges left in his deck, and they're both attached to his 10. 1 dodge left. So all Enomus really has to do is let him run out of cards. Enomus realizes he has to make something happen now. And that is a very strong combo starter, but speed 2.4, it's not beating any of the attacks Enomus is actually very likely to play. Surprised he sort of went through those dodges before blocking. I think what he was scared of was Great Pandemonium, because that's speed 0.8, it does 4 block damage, and he can get a knockdown from it. This is probably going to be the end of the game, though. He's going to use this to set up a Poker Flourish. He only needs to do 14 points of damage. So we're going to play Blackjack. There's no Joker, so I think this is basically guaranteed. 18, that's it, that's game 2. That's if Lum's allowed to set up and we're getting to that last part of the deck. It's very difficult to deal with. This is the strength of Lum. Going straight to game 3, Leontes sticking with Midori. We're at 1-1. And a turn 1 throw from Enomus, which is interesting because Leontes have been establishing that very early throw, which is not going to work very well. Which, you know, Lum can't really beat on speed. He was expecting a block. Or he's expecting something like last game, where even if that gets beaten, nothing bad will happen to him, because it's still pretty early in the game. Leontes has to go lower on cards. And if he does catch the block, that's excellent for him, because he stops Midori from setting up. Leontes will get the block this time. That's a really big, beefy attack. This is Lum's fastest throw, but because we're against Midori, it's not going to matter too much how fast it is. The fact that this is a big attack means he was very much expecting a throw. Because at speed 6.4, that gets outsped by basically any attack Midori wants to do, and obviously loses to block. So Midori almost to a full hand, Lum's getting there. Pulls out that Rising Mountain to try to snipe out the coin toss again. No dice. Both players up to about a full hand again. So Enomus now at a big hand. The scary thing about Lum, as you saw, he doesn't need to win combat once his hand gets big, he just needs to find aces and tens. So a big hand is more valuable for Enomus than it is for Leontes right now. You see again those big attacks, he's trying to get the card draw and beat a throw. But Leontes playing very defensively all of a sudden. We haven't seen any throws yet. As I say that, there it goes. That's the first throw we've seen this entire game from Leontes. Small life lead early. Before that, we'd seen a lot of blocks, and we'd seen that queen poke. And now he has a big hand. Now the part where those throws are taking 2 cards out of his hand to deal damage doesn't matter anymore, because he's able to refuel without being forced to block again. And he's forcing Enomus to establish those attacks again in order to stop him from getting thrown all over the floor. He tries to catch the attack. Enomus blocking again, staying patient even though he's been thrown a couple times, gets up to a full hand. Only down about 13 points, 23 points of life, which is a good amount, but it's not undoable because he can easily do that back without even having to win combat. Gets dodged, faces down. I think we're going to see a normal throw. Yep, for 8 damage. We don't want to see something like what happened earlier where he had 36 damage that just got prevented. Preventing 8, not so big of a deal. You still get a card out of your hand. You maybe do 8 damage if nothing happens. And he gets the knockdown to set up the block. Enomus a little scared when he's on his back, flips the jack, so loses the jack from his hand, the jack from his deck, but Leontes is going to be slower this turn. I'm wondering if Enomus is going to bite on the throw. We've seen a throw and a block. And he does, gets Gold Burst. Remember I mentioned that because every attack and every throw in the game, and he will find 2 of his aces for that combat win. He'll probably power up another pair to find another ace, go into Dragon form, and he can potentially end the game now if he gets Final Dragon Buster fully pumped up. Because Enomus is at 51, Final Dragon Buster can do 52 if you have all 4 aces. This is a scary situation. Bad things can happen. Use the black jackpot, so when you know the opponent has 3 or 4 aces in hand, means you're more likely to find an ace with the jackpot and deal 7 points damage and get the additional card draw. What all he's finding is he found a queen, and he's found a jack, so he's finding other big, annoying dragon things, which is not the sort of thing you want to be finding in there. You want to find the big, annoying dragon things you know about. Goes for the coin toss to try to beat the Final Dragon Buster raw. Doesn't have a real joker, so that's 30 points of damage. That hurts. He's at 21. Not what you want. Final Dragon Buster ends the game, possibly. He's not scared of it. He uses the blackjack, which does lose just using the buster. Tries to get that unjokerable damage out. Then a jackpot again. Now Leontes' best card's an ace. More likely to find an ace. Doesn't. Finds a 3. And if he can get a throw on those dodges, he is able to end Dragon Form, but that's scary when you're looking at that. He will end Dragon Form by using Wrath of Earth. This is not a dragon attack, even though it's one of his supers, so Dragon Form's over. But you know it's at 1. Taking any chip is death at this point, or getting hit by anything is death. Having anything dodge if you don't have the Joker available is death. And not only that, because he didn't deal damage to that king, he doesn't get it back. Very strong position, goes back into Dragon Form. And Enomus has to throw to get him out, so Leontes might be able to make Enomus play impatiently. And just as the normal throw, that's very smart. It caught a blackjack. What he was trying to do is set up the... He made it look like he wanted to block because he had 3 of his queens in the discard. Force Enomus to throw, and the 4th throw will win combat against any of Wum's throws. And that was dominating. Leontes took 9 points of damage, and that was it. We got about halfway through the decks. That was painful. Enomus not given the chance to set up, and for all the preview I did for Vendetta, we're seeing our 4th game of Midori versus Lung. You can see the game counts right here, the little stars show how many games these players won. Doesn't have a follow-up, which means he either doesn't have normals in his hand or he wants to keep the hand sizes constant. This could mean his blocks are on his 3, which he's going to use for a throw again. Enomus thinking he didn't follow up his throw, so this is safe. He did have the follow-up, so it's sort of like a little cheeky reset. He doesn't have the follow-up for the throw, therefore I can block again because I'll take only 8 damage, only to find out he took 16. So he's already down 24 life on turn 2. Oh, and Leontes, that's why. His only block left might be his 2, but he's known for this. He's known for trying to send very interesting signals about his hand. And trying to tell you, look, I have this terrible hand, please abuse me for it. And then just unloading these amazing cards he's been hiding from you. Although his hand might actually just be bad at this point, but it doesn't matter because he has a life lead, and enomus doesn't know what to think right now. He doesn't really have a solid read on Leontes' hand. I don't have a read on Leontes' hand. Oh, there's that. There's what I'm talking about. Hiding that Dragon Queen. Crouching Midori hidden Dragon with that glimpse of the dragon turns it into 14. Turns it into 22 instead of 8. Already, enomus has lost half of his health. We're not even 12 cards into the deck. We're 13 cards into enomus' deck, and he's lost a chunk. It's a lot. Goes into dragon form finally with a block in his hand, and now he might try to just block and get that queen back. He might not even have a block, he might just have a king or something. Goes for the Toxic Breath, expects enomus to throw to try to catch the block to get the queen back. And I would let this go. Oh! What? 29 points of damage. He had a jack and 2 aces in his hand, so he expertly hides his hand. And just how strong that hand is. Enomus has lost 75 HP already. This might be curtains for enomus for this game, which would put Leontes at match point. Gets the throw with the 2, loses dragon form. Throws with the 2 throw, which means he won't be able to use that to get dragon form, but it might not matter because the game just might be over. Gets the Joker, but enomus is at 7 HP. Leontes hasn't even taken a chip of damage. This might be a perfect, which you don't see very frequently in this matchup. Leontes with 3 cards in hand, gets the dodge, had another dodge in his hand. A normal throw is lethal. He throws with the 9. Outstanding hand obfuscation by Midori. Perfect. He broke the panda in half. And Leontes got an inscribed card tag. I hope there's a golden Midori 9 or something in there. Leontes is on Yomi Bull point. Enomus is thinking, because he does not like the Minerva's Midori matchup, he's mentioned this, but Lum just has not worked from the last 2 games. He got slaughtered this game in a perfect, and the game before that he did 9 points of damage. Leontes has him on download. Sticking with Lum, he's putting his tournament life, Yomi League life, everything on this counter pick. Because the game he took was like bleeding Leontes dry, which is how Lum should be played. But Leontes might just have the read. And he's shifted his range. Remember, he was playing very aggressively last game after a couple turns of hiding a really good hand. He had 2 throws early, but then he tried to hide with this amazing hand he had drawn into. Now he's just playing extra defense. Trying to build up his hand. Trying to see how long it is and see how many of Lum's really good attacks he can make enomus waste. But that's the power of Midori. He's considered one of the weaker characters in the game, but in this game it doesn't matter when you have games like that where you can just slaughter somebody before they don't even have a chance to do anything. Oh, dodging the 20, okay. Sure. Early life lead for Leontes again. I honestly would have liked to have seen Vendetta from him more than Lum. This Lum pick is not working out for him. Block and block. Now chill out. And I want to know what's going through enomus' head right now. He's playing patiently. Leontes has not established throw yet. Got his little surprise damage with the Wrath of Earth off the dodge. Both characters on about equal hand sizes. Both at the hand... Well, Lum is at the hand cap. Leontes is approaching it. We know Leontes has at least 1 ace, and Wrath of Earth at speed 1.2 will beat Lum's Jack. Which, as you saw in the game that enomus won, can be a real pain to deal with. Enomus finds the queen, scouts out the throw. See if he gets them back this time. Last time he did 2 queens, he rolled his 3rd one. He will get both queens back. Okay, so now Leontes has to dance around the fast attack in the matchup. Enomus has access to 2 of them. Potentially he can gamble both of them to deal 16. Uh-oh. That's a problem. 15 damage. About half of Enomus' life is gone again. Leontes barely taking anything. Enomus is at the handicap, though. It's worth mentioning. So blocking at the handicap means he's going to be finding an ace. He's going to be discarding a pair, finding an ace. He's thinking. He's thinking about which cards aren't very valuable to him right now. Between those twos, they're really only good as blocks. The dodge side isn't very helpful against Midori. End turn, nothing. So now we know Lum has the tools he needs. He has 2 queens. We have the ace dodge, which can dodge all of Midori's dragon attacks. So Enomus, despite being about 20 points in the hole, has the tool advantage. Leontes, recognizing this, goes into dragon form to give him these scarier throws, because we know he has an ace in his hand. He probably has a king in there. Yep, there comes the king. If you're going to dragon form, so 17 damage already, which is a lot. That's about a third of his health left. But if you know that he has the throw that beats your stuff, and you know the attack that beats your stuff, you're not going to worry too much. The dodge that beats your stuff and the attack that beats your stuff. You're not going to be worried about your dragon queens. You want your dragon kings, because that's a throw. That'll beat the blackjack. That's what he was trying to catch, and he wound up catching the throw instead. Ooh! Well, damn! So we know he doesn't have the fourth ace in his hand. Face downs again, I don't agree with it. 20 points of damage, so Enomus is possibly dead on the next combat. If Leontes gets aces again, that could be it. He's gonna power it up. He's loading the gun. He's at 74 health. Notice that after that game that Enomus won, Leontes, I think, has lost a total of 25 points of damage, which is just ridiculous. He has lost less than 10% of his total health pool from all of the matches combined since Enomus' game win. Is this the game? Is this the Yomi Bowl? It's not. It is Dragon Mountain. Puts him to 16, but not dead. The final Dragon Buster would have taken the game, would have taken the tournament. It's tense. Enomus at a very huge life disadvantage. But if he's able to weather the storm, if he's able to get that damage from Great Pandemonium and set up a poker flourish, he's back in this game. Tries to catch the jackpot, see if he can find aces. Finds a 10, not what he wants. He didn't want to see that he has access to the dodge. Dodge to 20 is now a mix-up. 20 is now a mix-up. Finds the 4, not very helpful information right now. Doesn't tell him anything. You know that Leontes is looking to either play the Dragon Throw, the Wrath of Earth, or the dodge to win this game. Enomus has made his decision based on what he's seen. Enomus going for the Dragon Swoop. This is smart. This is 17. He doesn't need to bet an entire Dragon Buster. If he can do it all with one card instead of gambling both of his aces, he will do it. This tells me Enomus has the Joker. He gets the slow onto Leontes. However, this means that if he does have the Joker, he's probably going to go for an attack. Catches the Talon Swoop. He might be able to make this comeback yet. It is a real Joker here. But we know that Leontes still possibly had the lethal combo in hand. Flips the 3, so he's not going to get a knockdown. He wanted to get the knockdown to turn off dodge. He's going to heal 4 life. This is smart. This puts him back up to 20. It puts him out of Talon Swoop range, and it forces Leontes to commit to the final Dragon Buster. So I think that Enomus is staying on the plan of attacking basically every turn. Leontes doesn't catch on, goes for the Wrath of Earth. And all of a sudden, Enomus has pulled it in. He found a queen. He's back in business. Light toll is only 27 points away. He's got the slow onto Leontes, but lost his queen again. So he's gotten it pulled back. Midori has 5 cards left in his hand. We know that one of them's a 10. We know that one of them's a 4. We don't know the other 3. Tries to attack through the slow. He might just not have blocks right now. He would love to see a block right now. And just like that, Midori's down to 37. Pulls the 10. He wanted the out of combat damage, but he'll take his attacks back. Midori can possibly have queens in his hand. Oh, are you serious? He's going to give a 4 of a kind. This could give enomus the life lead after a pretty horrifying start. 12. Does he hit again? He could bust out, or he could deal 21. 16, he's going to stay there. That was dangerous. If he turned over a face card, because we know where all his 10s are, he could have busted out. And he had no 9, so he couldn't possibly hit 21 and draw everything and deal 21. Life totals are even now. This is a pretty insane comeback. We're gonna... I think Leontes feels like he has to block. We saw 2 10s in his hand. In addition to Poker Flourish, it's also a throw. That's scary. That throw is the most damaging throw Lum has. He doesn't have very good throws, but if he hits with extra juice, he could deal 22 points of damage, which is just enough to put a lid on this game. Do we see a lethal Poker Flourish here? It's a full house. Didn't have a 4 of a kind, but has the life lead. Has 15 cards left in his deck. Probably has a Joker in his hand because he was very willing to keep attacking. Leontes hasn't been able to draw that out yet. Gets the block. Has a full hand. Midori's still at 4 cards. Not where you want to be going. He had the game in his grasp. He had the Yomi Bowl in his grasp and could not pull it through. Could we see enomus claw back and take it 3 games to 2? Will we force a game 6? Combat could actually decide how the rest could decide this game with how many cards enomus has. We know he has another 10. He could easily power up for the aces, go for a lethal Poker Flourish. We know Leontes cannot possibly have a Wrath of Earth. He might have a queen with a flip. Goes for the dodge again. I feel like enomus is going to set up a Poker Flourish here. And at 14 life, if you have your Jokers, so you know you cannot randomly hit that 21 and just bust out, that could be the game. Using the Lum trick, he's going to put 2 aces into the discard, find 1. We're going to get Poker Flourish 4 of a kind. This could be a huge comeback. Oh, Leontes, he's upset. He put a lot into those last few turns. 8. 18! We're going to game 6. And that comeback was ridiculous. Wow. Comeback Panda. That was crazy. How do you do that? That takes so much effort. You are at 18 life to Leontes 74. You barely touched him. And you're able to get onto that groove and just pull that game out. You are able to force that. He had the final Dragon Buster and chickened out, he said, about probably when enomus was blocking for a turn, when he blocked out that queen. We know he had the Dragon Buster, he could have won. And I think he's slipping a little bit. He knows he could have won. And I think he's letting that affect his play a bit too much. He's not slowing down. So we have 14 viewers here. Welcome, everybody. I'm hoping everyone's enjoying the stream. I can't be too loud. I do still live with my family. Everyone's sort of trying to mill about, trying to keep everything sort of a little chill, but it's difficult. These games are intense. Enomus with an early life lead has been playing a lot more aggressively this game. Gets called out, gets thrown. That's not a card you'll see him flip very often. When he's using Glimpse of the Dragon, he doesn't only want to add 5 damage. He wants to add damage and combo potential, but either side of this can't combo, and the speed difference doesn't matter against Lum. So life totals even again after 1 throw. Compared to Lum hitting with a king and a throw. Lum's damage not too high until he gets a bunch of cards in his hand. Once he does, obviously he doesn't need to actually win combat to do the damage. Midori's damage is extremely efficient on the other hand, he doesn't need a lot of help. 9 throw. Interesting. I think he's realized that enomus hasn't been biting on dodge. Which is scary. That 9 is it's a terrible throw. All of Lum's throws except for his 10 are going to beat that. But in addition, you only have 8 dodges, and that's attached to one of them. So that 9 is usually seen by the vast majority of Midori players as just a throw. Sorry, as just a dodge. I'm thinking this is another Leontes trick. He's trying to tell him, I don't have throws, you should abuse my throwless hand by blocking and throwing a lot. When in fact he's about to reveal this grip of throws, and enomus finally catches on, realizes he's being led down that path. Pokes out the normal throw. Because if he hadn't, he might easily be at 30. He's going to get that queen back that he comboed into. Scary situation. Both sides low on hand. Oh, and he wagers the queen. He says, look, I got it back. I'm probably not going to play it again. Loses it permanently. And gives Leontes more cards. But he does have the additional fast attack with the jack to try to protect his hand. We're going to see if he gets it back. He's rolling the dice. Gets it back. Flips an 8. He's been having much better luck on his roll the dice this time. He got his queen back, and now he's gotten his jack back. This is what can make Plum a pain. If he hits that 4 through 10 on a face card. And Leontes is deciding he can tank as many jacks as he wants. He just wants to get enomus' life down before he sets up. Now has almost double his life. 35 HP left. This is potentially 2 combats where Midori could end the game. Gets the dodge on the jack. He'd been conditioning enomus into wanting to use those fast attacks to keep out that bully of a dragon. He's deciding whether to follow up. He would have 4 cards left in his hand, maybe 3 if he's trying to dodge the aces. And if he gives Lum the joker, that's aces, and that is not a real joker! Could have been huge if that was real. Enomus, again, on the brink. 15 life is death from almost everything Midori wants to do. 59 HP, we've seen before. Enomus has the possibility to make that big comeback. He wagers the 2 throw. Wagers the dragon form to try to close the game out. This could be scary. Leontes is going to get 4 cards. Enomus loses a queen. It's not what he wanted. He lost the jack from it being dodged. He lost the queen from it being blocked. He lost another queen from a block. And this has been what Enomus has gone to. He gets the slow and he goes in. Or he gets to a very low life total and he goes in. He does not stop attacking. Because he didn't have a face card to get back. Now Midori cannot dodge. Meaning Enomus is much more likely to attack. Because that is Midori's best way out of those attacks. Gold Burst! He did not expect Leontes to sit back and relax. He expected Leontes to want to end the game, gets 2 aces, and again, we're seeing this. Leontes gets this huge life lead, is not able to capitalize and end the game because he's too focused on trying to end immediately. But that is one of Enomus' 2 jokers. He may only have 1 left. I think he's going to attack again. No! Okay. Scary situation. If he doesn't have his last joker, the next combat's death. If he does, then he is in the driver's seat because Leontes is squirming and low on cards. Finds the block, gets rid of another queen. Every queen he gets rid of, we haven't seen any of Leontes' queens yet. Every queen that's gone, Leontes' queen get that much more power. It's big. Another pivotal combat potentially. Blocks the jack. Leontes back up to a 7-card hand. Will Enomus get his jack back? Will he draw 3? He'll gain 4, I'm thinking. I don't think he wants to draw anymore. He wants to make sure he's out of Midori kills you range from everything. Because when you're at 15, a lot more things kill you than when you're at 19. Throw to 8 is no longer sufficient. If he wants to kill off a throw, it has to be Final Dragon Buster. Or it has to be a throw into 2 jacks. And we see that a jack's in his discard, and about half his deck's left, so he might not even have 2 jacks in a throw on a 7-card hand. Oh, and he had another queen. That's his last queen. He's not going to be really pumped. He might get it back. If he gets it back, he might be able to put a seal on this. He does. So now he has the constant threat of fast attack in the matchup. He has established that he has the queen. He probably has a 13-card hand. Yep. He's going to do the ace trick. Powers away 2 aces to get 1 back. Sets up the 4 of a kind. I'm having some connection difficulties. He's thinking. Oh, he might not have the next Joker. If he goes and he gets the Poker Flourish and he flips that Joker over, and it's not the first card he flips, that could immediately turn the game around. Because that makes Leontes' dodge so much more scary. 2, 3, it's 5 damage. Yes, keep going. 14, he'll stop. Too many chances to bust out once you get to 14. Any face card's a bust. A 10's a bust, so we've only seen 1. A 9's a bust. 8's a bust. He only has 1 7 left, so we know he can't get 21 from it. Block, block. Leontes at 26. He has such a dominating position, now he's down again. And 2 more Poker Flourishes can seal the game for enomus, so he almost has to make something happen, but he's gone through a lot of dodges to do it. He used that 1 dodge as a throw to even get into this position. He has 5 left in his deck. Fishes for the Wrath of Earth, expects a jack, but enomus staying his hand. He was probably trying to end the game from an anti-throw without giving him the opportunity to Joker. But we know he has the queen. We see a problem. He's finding an ace. He's finding more aces. Thinking he has another 10 there. If he has the Joker in hand, he could actually have the game wrapped up, even though it doesn't look like it. But he's at 17. If he slips up, Talon Swoop is lethal. Full House does 7. It's 19 to 17. Great Pandemonium is lethal, and we know he has it because he's found 2 aces. A Blackjack dodge is lethal, and we know he has it. A 9 throw is lethal, and we know he has it. Queen, can't pump it. He's going to be down to 11. He might not even care if he gets it back. He'll take it back anyway. Poker Flourish is death. If he has the Poker Flourish set up, I think he just wins. He's going to win. If he has the Joker, he knows there's no way he can possibly lose. Leontes realizes that he's pulled out another little panda trick. Pulls the 9. Joker! What? Yo! We have a match. No Jokers are left. We know there's a queen in there, but a dodge and a Talon Swoop is lethal. He didn't have the second Joker. That completely changes this. We're 9 cards left. If he finds any other card, he wins. Nothing enomus does is safe. Anything can potentially give Leontes a life lead that he can sit on. But he has to get the hit first. He has to navigate either a throw or a queen. I don't think that enomus is going to go for anything else. He might dodge. I'm thinking it's either going to be a throw or a queen. Goes for the jack! He does not have lethal. He cannot possibly have lethal. We know he doesn't have a third Joker. Come on, guy. But he might have a Poker Flourish. Leontes has the life lead, but enomus might have a Poker Flourish. It is knocked down. 5 cards left in the deck. 9 HP. Leontes has gone into dragon form. That's an inscribed dragon form. That's a sexy dragon form. He might frame that dragon form, but that wins him the game. Time is running out. Leontes has pulled out a life lead again because Lum decided he wanted to lose a Joker. Gets the throw. That's going to be the Yomi Bowl. Any follow-up is lethal. He cannot possibly have the last Joker. Leontes is your International Yomi League 2 Yomi Bowl champion in an incredibly tense Game 6. That Joker flip changed the game. That Joker flip lost him the Yomi Bowl. Four to 2, Leontes is your Yomi Bowl champion. If he had had that Joker in hand, he would have had a lock. If he would have found any of the other 9 cards in his deck, he would have had a lock. He would have pulled this out. Now, the problem with out-of-combat damage is sometimes the cards turn against you. And once you start after winning combats normally, Midori's going to have the edge because his combat cards are so strong. Excellently played by Leontes. I don't know what to say. That match was ridiculous. Every reason to expect a Dragon Q. That's true. Either a Q or a dodge. Fast, easiest way to get around that is to block. Leontes pulling out his old trick of going to Dragon form. I'm going to normal throw you. Because obviously I don't have a king, so that block is safe. But once you're at that life total, that no longer matters.